Okay, welcome to the first episode of the Rexcast, presented by Rex Media and the
Yep.
CEO of Random. We are very
Hey.
excited to be here with everyone, and I think we're just going to get right into this. So, the topic of today's podcast is our personal best and worst games of 2022, and so we're going to be going counting down from five. So, um, we'll each share our own personal game lists and kind of elaborate on that. We'll open up some discussion as well. All right, so here we go. Do you want to start or me?
I'll start actually.
Okay. So let's go with your
Um,
worst first, and starting at number five. And
ooh.
just to set criteria, these can be games that have released in prior years. It just has to be something we played this year.
Hmm. I think the worst game that I played this year is gonna be a real shocker, and I'm gonna get a lot of hate for this, but um, I'd probably say Fallout 3 was my worst favorite game that I
Really?
played this year. Um, I would say that because it was one of the most least enjoyable gaming experiences I've ever had in my life, and I'm not being exaggerating, and I'm not just saying that to say that. Like literally, my nickname, Loaf of Bread can he can or B-Rex, he can atone to that. I used to call it Fallout 3.5 out of 10. Like I
Uh,
just sincerely did not like that game. It's just I feel like Vegas outperformed it in every single level imaginable. Um, and I'm not putting that lightly. Literally, the story just did not grab me. I don't care if he finds his dad or whatever.
mm,
There's another thing. I don't know if B-Rex can atone to this too. Here, you chime in if you want to. But he's played it too. The
uh,
way
um,
that the side quests are made in the game just are not enjoyable. Like they're so hard to find. You agree with that? Like that's just how
um,
I feel.
I mean, I thought Fallout 3 was actually pretty good. Um, I personally gave it like a 7 out of 10. It's
Yeah.
not great, but it's a good RPG. I think it's better at being an RPG than you know, frickin' Fallout 4. I mean, Fallout 4, in my opinion, is just a first-person shooter with
With
RPG
story
elements.
elements.
Yeah, and that
Yes.
that
I
that's what
totally
I didn't
agree.
like. I mean, I didn't feel like my decisions mattered in Fallout 4
Mattered.
because I
Okay.
mean, until the end, because it's like at the end, oh, where you finally find Sean at the
Yeah,
end,
who do
and
you
he,
choose, right?
yeah,
Yeah,
what do
yeah,
you choose?
yeah.
That's the only decision that matters, I think, and I didn't like that approach to the game. I personally thought it should have been like, why can't we have more world-altering decisions? Like, Fallout 3 blowing up a freaking town.
Yeah, I did that actually.
I didn't. I went the
Listen,
lawful good route.
that you're being a good person.
Indeed.
Well, I mean, I like to be chaotic in Bethesda games sometimes. Like I'm like the chaotic good. Like I can be good, but
Uh huh.
listen, if it's a funny weird choice that significantly alters the game, I'm gonna choose it, okay? Like for
Hmm.
instance, spoilers, like blowing up Megaton and then having that weird shady company give you a ton of money for doing that and just act all weird.
Yeah.
uh yeah, weird. When it does blow up. That was one of the more fun aspects of 3. Another thing I liked about 3, this is why I gave it a 3.5 out of 10, because I still liked a couple things. It's not like a 1. It's not like Star Wars Squadrons. If you guys have ever played that game, that's a 1 out of 10 game, okay? That's a 1. That is one of the worst games I've ever played in my life. Um, but yeah, I like 3 because I liked finding that weird cult in the underground train station. Like that was a cool quest, you know? That was a
Yeah.
cool side quest, or helping the guys on the bridge. That's interesting. But just the gunplay, the main story, oh, yeah,
Yeah.
that's my 5. Do you want me to go on to 4, or do you want to do your 5th? Do you want to go back and forth? We could
Yeah.
do that.
I think that's a good thing to do.
Okay. So what's your 5th? What's your
Um.
worst favorite game you played this year?
I'd have to say Scorn.
Oh
Um.
wow.
Scorn
I
was
see. I never
awful.
got around to that.
Oh,
Mm.
I envy you. Scorn I mean, anybody who watched any videos about it can probably be like, yeah, it was just terrible. I tried playing it on
Mm.
Xbox. I was bored, and then I tried playing it on PC, and then the PC port was just awful. Like there was so much
Oh boy.
stuttering, and so it just made it like just an unpleasant game to play.
Yeah.
That was my worst feeling about it, most definitely.
I have a question.
hmm
Correct me if I'm wrong. Was it one of the most anticipated? Was it nominated for most anticipated in 2021?
I don't think so because
Okay.
I can look, but I don't believe it
See, yeah,
was.
like I don't know.
Um,
Do you want me to go to four while you look real quick, and I can just kind of like explain? Do you want me to do that?
um, well, I mean, I am looking at top, but yeah, like Scorn
Okay.
was just like a lot of people. They're like, oh yeah, so uh, Scorn, it looks cool. Well, yeah, and then that's where it ends. It
Yeah.
looks cool. I mean, I will admit, as a big fan
Exactly.
of the Alien movies, I mean, it looked really awesome.
Amazing. It
It looked
did.
amazing, and it's still a
hmm
graphically impressive game. Like the art
Yeah.
direction is one of the best I've ever seen.
Didn't you use the term walking simulator when you played it? Isn't that what you
Yes, it
said?
is. And
Okay.
people call Sony games walking simulators, and I'm like, then you must not have played Scorn because in Scorn all you do is walk. That is all you do, and
And do
not like
puzzles,
taking the
right?
walk
And
to
do like
Poland
puzzle.
walk.
Yeah.
Like this is you're just straight up walking, and there's no
Yeah.
redeeming thing for it. I mean, I get it's cool for people who like puzzle games, but they sold this as like a first person shooter in an alien-esque world, and I felt that was just very misleading.
Mm. See, I understand that.
hmm So yeah,
Yep.
but it was not nominated for most anticipated in 2021. 2021's
That's
most
actually surprising.
anticipated were Elden Ring, God of War, Horizon, Zelda, and Starfield.
I nominate this award to Bill Clinton.
Indeed, bro,
That
that kid's a
was a
legend.
great moment. That was really funny.
And we were like so disappointed when we watched it. We were so disappointed that no Starfield was there, and we didn't even notice it until after the show ended. Like I was like, wait, what did that kid come up there and say? And then you see
Yeah,
Bill
because I
Clinton just
actually,
trending on
yeah.
Twitter. It's like, oh, what did old Bill do this time?
Oh man, that's really funny.
Oh yeah, it was very. Anyway,
But
so
yeah, that
yeah,
was a legendary moment
yeah.
for
Head
sure.
on to your number four. I can't say enough
Okay.
bad about Scorn.
Oh, you're good, man.
It's such a bad
So
game.
my number four is actually really surprising. D-Rex is gonna find it surprising anyway from the amount of hours I have in it. Dying Light 2 actually is my number four.
Oh wow.
Um, yeah, it's like a six, like see, like we went from like 3.5 to six.
Yeah.
So okay, so D-Rex can attest. I played too much of this game when it first came out in February. Like it was like
You
I
burnt
played way
yourself
too
out on it.
much. Yes. The opening scene in the game is still one of my favorite opening scenes in any game, and I will die by that hill on that hill because just the way that it like sets up the game is beautiful. I
hmm
loved how like it was just like a beautiful like forest, you know, and you're kind of learning the mechanics and zombies chasing you. You go to a house, you find some stuff, and you talk to your friend. I didn't play Dying Light 1. I don't know who he is, but I still thought the scene was really beautiful. So yeah, that was amazing. But the game got so old very quick. They didn't add anything. There was nothing new. There's not really a point, if that makes sense. You go here, kill a monster, get a thing, and kill more monsters, move to the next area. That's all it is.
Uh-huh.
That's the game.
What I heard is a
Um,
lot of people didn't like the story.
yeah, the story was less than like I mean, it's not something I really liked that much. I agree. It was just like kind of pointless.
hmm
A lot of the NPCs like are helpless. Okay, so let me give an example. Red Dead Redemption 2. By the way, that is my favorite opening scene in a game. Like Dying Light's pretty close, but I think Red Dead 2 is oh man.
Yeah, it was pretty
Like
nice.
where you're in the snow. Oh my goodness, what a way to
Trying to find help.
introduce a game. Oh gosh. That I almost said movie. It's like a movie.
Yeah.
But that game is amazing. Just amazing. But the NPCs, like they felt real. They could help themselves, you know. They could do things, you know, like
Hmm.
whatever in the stories. But like in story missions, that's what I meant. In Dying Light 2, it just doesn't seem like that. Like the NPCs are helpless. You're the savior, but you don't want to be the savior because the game's boring. So that's kind of how I feel about that game. That's my number 4. So,
Okay.
would be your number 4?
To think back on all the games I played this year, because I played a lot this year. Um, I'd have to say my fourth worst favorite game was
Yeah.
Huh. All right. This is going to be a massive hot take. That
Okay.
I know a lot of people, but
I'm ready.
I played the first Dark Souls this year,
Oh boy.
and
Whoa. Really?
it
I didn't
it
know
could
that.
be just because I mean I plan to play Elden Ring eventually once I get around to
Yeah.
it. I want to. I think it looks amazing, and from what I've heard nothing but good things about it. But it's just the first Dark Soul. It's so archaic, and I'm like not against a challenging
Yeesh.
game. And like people are like, oh, the combat's challenging and fair. And I'm like, well, that can be the case, but I think it's just because of how old the game feels. It feels like a game from 2009, which is I think when it came out. Either that or 2011. Might have been 2011.
I don't remember, man,
Um,
but yeah.
but whenever it
No,
came,
I
it
thought Dark Souls 2 was 2011
maybe
and Dark Souls 1 was 2010. Was it 2010?
maybe I don't
Demon
know.
Souls was 2009. That's what
What
I
year
think.
did
You're
Dark
thinking
Souls
of.
come out?
Yeah, 2010, I think.
2011.
2011. All
Yep,
right.
2011.
Well,
Uh,
I stand corrected.
yeah. So, but anyway, it feels like a game, and there are some games that like in 2011 they felt really good to play and they aged really well. Like, um,
Skyrim.
yeah,
Sorry.
Skyrim aged really well, and I think the remasters did
Dead.
a lot to help it feel better. Like they improved
Now,
in
the
the
amount
areas
of
where
remasters is another controversial
that's another
take there.
conversation. But yeah,
Yeah.
and a lot of people are like, "Oh, it's because you played the remastered version. The original is much better." I'm like, "Well, if the remastered version feels this bad, then how bad is the original gonna be?"
Original. Hmm.
Because it's like I I didn't even know where to start, and so I refunded
Oh
it, and
boy.
I refunded it, and I was
Wow.
just like,
Wait,
I'm
you
not
you
gonna.
refunded it?
Yeah, I got it on Steam. It was like
Whoa.
dirt cheap during a Steam sale, and so I was like, "Eh, this is pretty
What do
cool."
you rate it out of 10?
5. There's a lot of things I liked about it. I like the world. I think the music. Oh, like okay, now Demon Souls. That is like my favorite game that I have never played because like the music for it and the world is just so cool, and I'm excited for when
2019 or
when
the
I
old one?
the new one, the
Okay.
remake from 2020. Uh,
Okay, it's
when I get a
2020, my bad.
PS5, oh man, that's gonna be one of the first things I play because that game looks so fun. And I heard they like actually iterated on the combat and made it feel like a modern game. But yeah, so that's my little mini rant on Dark Souls remastered. And from what I understand, a lot of people didn't like the remaster. And they're like,
Yeah.
"Oh, just play the original on PS3." And I was like, "Well, I mean, I don't want to. I want to play it on PC, but oh well." So go to
Yeah.
your number 3.
So this is actually really interesting list because like I have like my 2 worst games, the middle game, and then my 2 favorite games of this year. So that's kind of
Uh-huh.
like how I'm doing it.
Okay.
Number 3, middle of the ground. People are gonna hate me. I don't really care. Elden Ring.
Oh.
I like the game. B-Rex knows how I feel about the game. I kind of ruin. Look, I'm an idiot with these From Software games. That's just how I am. I'm not. I just don't have the patience to do that. And I know that's my own problem and that I can't enjoy these good games, but like that's just how I feel about From Software
Hmm.
games. Um,
We are excited for Armored Core,
so
though.
wait, oh yeah, I am
Arm-
actually
Armored
insanely
Core is going to be
excited for
dope.
that.
All right, so continue.
Um, so basically, I loved the game when it first came out. Like I played it, I went through the tutorial. I know that's nothing if if you're an Elden Ring fan, you played the whole game, whatever, enjoyed it, your favorite part was probably defeating Melania at the end. Or I don't even know her name.
She's
I'm
a hidden
sorry.
boss.
I'm
Yeah,
gonna be,
Melania.
yeah. Okay, so, but my favorite actually part of the game was the tutorial.
Wow.
Which is crazy to say, but I'm gonna say that I thoroughly enjoyed it because I thought it was hilarious how you could add little messages to the ground. I thought that was like
Mm-hmm.
comedic gold, you know? Like it
Yeah.
was really funny when I first started out. But then I'm an idiot. I started hitting the first NPC I saw outside of the tutorial. I don't remember the name of it, but it's the one that kind of tells you about the world or whatever.
Yeah.
And so I got terrorized by this NPC for like hours. And then I got killed by the big knight guy that's near the
The tree
broken down
sentinel.
castle. Yeah, see, like I don't remember names like
I
that,
love how I
man.
know a lot of
If
stuff
I'm
about
not
this game
like
and I've never even played it.
But yeah, I kept getting killed by that guy. And then I met someone online and they kind of like helped me through the game a little bit, like trying to like just see like everything, experience all the bosses and stuff. So that
Yeah.
was fun. See, like that wasn't a horrible experience, but it just it didn't strike me as like, my favorite game ever,
Yeah.
stuff like that.
A
It was
masterpiece.
just okay. It was just okay to me. I enjoyed it though. Don't get me wrong. It's not like, oh my gosh, Elden Ring. Like I want to get into the game, but I need to get more patient as a person first. What's your number three? That's
Um,
mine.
I'd have to say Pentiment. Uh,
Okay.
so Pentiment was I foolishly called it my game of the year um a couple weeks back before I kind of rebooted my channel. But
Yeah, I remember that.
here's my thing about Pentiment. I like the game. I think it's a good game. It's Josh Sawyer at his absolute best. I think the story trumps the one of Fallout New Vegas hand over fist. That being said, there are a lot of issues with it, and that's not because, and it's not, I'm not like getting mad at it because it's a visual novel. There's not that much gameplay besides like a couple mini games, which aren't really mini games at all. The closest thing you get to actual gameplay is like a little card game, which I
Yeah.
thought was actually pretty fun. And I spent about 20 minutes just playing that card game. I thought it was really fun. But anyways, let's start building an expansion of this house. That's where I was like, eh. And then at the end of Act 2, there is a shocking revelation that happens, and it, like, I wouldn't say ruined the game for me, but I didn't feel as inclined to play. I still haven't finished it. I think I'm about midway
Yeah,
through
I
Act.
barely started it.
I think I'm about midway through Act 3. And I still I think I've put about 15 hours into the game,
Yeah.
but it's just not one of those games that, like, after this thing that happens in Act 2 or the end of Act 2, it's like I stopped wanting to play. Um so and another complaint I
Yeah.
had with it was um you never truly find out um who committed the murder. Um
Yeah.
you never
Whoa,
find out.
wait. I actually haven't gotten to that part yet. Is that like a main plot
One
point or something? I don't know.
so you might remember from the trailer that they showed off at their summer showcase, but there's a murder and that's the
Yeah.
whole Kickstarter for the game. You never
Oh,
find
yeah,
out.
yeah.
You never find out who
So
did it.
you looked at it and that's the whole point. You never find out who
The
did it.
whole point is that history is what we make it. So that means our decisions are
Really?
what happen. And it's kind of a thoughtful
Yeah.
take, but at the same
Like
time, I'm
that's
like,
cool, but
I kind of
like
want a conclusion. I mean, like,
can I add something
maybe
real quick?
maybe it's revealed at the end of Act 3, everything's revealed, but from what I've seen so far, a lot of people did not like the end. Did not like how your choices don't really matter because you never get closure on what happens. And I was like, I
Yeah,
don't like
okay.
that. Anyway, so what were you gonna say?
See, is that the right setting for doing that message? Yeah, it's cool you're using like the tapestry and stuff and
Uh huh.
the art style from that time, but like is that the real like correct message like that you kind of want to portray with the game? Like I that's an insanely good message, by the way. History is what you make of it. I get
Yeah.
it, but like in a game like Pentiment that's $20, not really doesn't really make any waves in the gaming
It's not a
community for the
major
most part.
game. I mean, it wasn't even nominated for any
Exactly.
awards.
Yeah.
Um,
See, they kind of wasted the game then. Because if they're focusing on that aspect, then like
I feel like you
where's
want to
the
get that
focus
to a
on
broad
like
audience.
exactly.
Or like maybe add that sort of theme into a more mainstream game.
Hmm.
But anyway, so what's your did you already do your number three?
Now,
Yes, that was Elden Ring. Number three
yeah, I
was
did.
Elden Ring. So number two, what was your second
Yep.
favorite game of the year?
So, okay, so these number two are my top two games of the year, and they're both 10 out of 10s, by the way.
Ooh.
B-Rex might know what ones I'm going for here. Number two is Oblivion, 100%. That, oh, that game's so good.
You just started playing it this year?
Yep, I
Wow.
did. Even though it's how many years old now?
Too old.
16? 16? Yeah, it's 16 years old. But yeah, I decided to spend, I think it was $3 on this Obsidian, not Obsidian. I'm so dumb. I'm so sorry. Oblivion. Oblivion. Sorry, there's too many like OB
Yeah.
and my brain is just not working. Um so okay, Oblivion. I bought it for $3.
Hmm.
Like, oh, this would be so cool, and it was insanely cool, and I'm very happy that I spent $3 on that game. If you are an RPG fan, that is one of the most RPG games you can probably play modern time wise.
Yeah.
Not clunky like Daggerfall or Morrowind. Like, look, okay, I'm not gonna diss Morrowind because I know how the Elder Scrolls community feels about that game. I like the game, but oh my goodness, it's like you gotta like really devote your time for that game. You gotta read
Yeah.
everything. There's no voice acting, barely any. Sorry. It's just yeah. I like the game, but it's just hard to get into.
Hmm.
But Oblivion like kind of opens it up. There's
Yeah.
voice acting. You can kind of do what you want, go where you want. It's not as structured. I mean, it is, but like not really. The cool dungeons, the crazy difficult enemies, the cool
Yeah.
little towns and things you can buy. The arena, oh my goodness, the arena is so fun.
Yeah, I went there and
Like,
ranked up immediately. That was the first thing I did, so I could rank up my
yeah,
combat skill.
the game's wonderful.
Hmm.
That's all I gotta say. Second favorite of this
It's
year.
truly a
What's your?
masterpiece.
It really
Um,
is.
so this is a testament, and we were talking about this before the stream started, but this is just a testament to how good this game is. My
Yeah.
second favorite game of the year, and I only started playing it yesterday. Persona 5 Royal. I
Wow.
I looked at I first see it now. This is gonna set a precedent, but I am not an anime fan. I wouldn't say I despise anime, but I just don't like it. I don't like how weird the characters sound, like "oh konnichiwa" stuff like that. I'm not a fan, and I mean that's okay, but at the same time, it's like
Yeah,
I
if you're
the
into
worst part is
like
I've heard
and stuff like that. Yeah, yeah.
yeah, and I've heard everyone's saying, "Oh, Persona 5 has like one of the best stories in all of gaming." Um, and I'm like,
And you didn't believe them.
yeah, well, I mean, I'm just sitting there. I'm like, well, I don't know. It's anime. I'm not sure, you know. And
Yeah.
and a lot of people they're like, dude, it's on Game Pass. Just try it. Well, I didn't try it on Game Pass. I tried it on my Switch, and dang it, this game is so good. Like I love everything about this game. And again, I'm not an anime fan. I don't really care for it. And I'm just sitting here playing. I'm like, okay, I immediately love the style. It's like it reminds me of Jet Set Radio back on the Dreamcast and original Xbox. How that game was like all really Tokyo cyber-esque and like graffiti and stuff like that. Persona 5 gives me very similar vibes. And
Wow.
it's such a good game. I can't recommend it enough. That's my second favorite game of the year.
Oh man.
Like that.
Wow, that's awesome. See,
Yeah.
I have the same way about anime. Like I respect the heck out of the genre. It's awesome. There's a lot of good stuff in it, you know?
Yeah.
It's not like I'm not gonna be like, "Oh, it's anime trash." No, there's really really
Anime
good
equals
media
L.
on anime. Yeah. Like Oh my goodness, the Cyberpunk Edge Runners.
Uh-huh.
Oh, that's so cool. What a
Dragon Age
cool anime.
Absolution is like based on anime, and I'm very excited for that. I think it's out now. I just haven't gotten to watching
Oh,
it.
and I'm insanely excited for Final Fantasy 16
Oh yeah,
too. That's a big thing.
that's more realistic
Yes.
Japanese styling, but yeah.
Well, I mean, it's kind of like that. Is it like that vein, or am I wrong? Because I
Um,
don't remember. I don't know.
it's
I
similar.
feel like the older versions were, right?
They were. And even the
Okay.
remake of Final Fantasy VII kind of leans into anime and stuff like that. But
In style. Okay.
yeah,
Wow. Yeah, I'm gonna have to,
I
watch
mean,
more anime shows, play more anime games, because it's just definitely a cool
it's a
like
cool
type of
genre.
media. Yeah,
I've
it
started
is.
to
It
kind of get
really
into it.
is.
Now I'm not into like the weird anime that you find in the depths of Crunchyroll and Funimation. I'm not into that. Like High School DxD, I've heard is a popular one with my friends, and they're like, "Oh, I watch it
Yeah,
for the
not my
plot," and
thing.
I'm like, "Yeah, sure you do." And I'm like, "No, but Persona 5, that's a game that I play for the actual plot and not the wink wink plot. Like, there's none of that in this.
I
I'm
might have
gonna
to
do
check
my.
it out now.
I can't not talk about this game. It's so cool.
Wow,
All right, so
that's amazing.
what was your game of the year?
All right, number one, game of the year is actually not a title released in 2022, even though Elden Ring and Dying
Yeah.
Light 2, they're 2022.
Mm-hmm.
My game of the year, New Vegas. I
Wow.
just got into this game actually last year. I was uncultured, garbage person, and I put the game away for a year. I'm not even kidding. I bought it probably in summer of 2021.
Mm-hmm.
And I played for like maybe an hour and just put it up. I was like, man, I don't like this game. Whatever.
Yeah.
I'm making fun of myself because it's just I was an idiot.
Mm-hmm.
But then I was like, oh man, maybe I'll give it another shot. And oh my goodness, what was I missing? I mean, I already completed the game once, but now I'm like taking my time doing all the side quests and stuff.
Yeah.
Um, Trying to do different like story, driven stuff. And oh my, everything you do literally affects everything you do. I've never seen a game where everything is so interconnected by your decisions.
Mm-hmm.
Like you kill a couple Legion soldiers, you're already like somewhat vilified by them. You're not going to be able to be in the Legion, which is by far the worst ending. I'm going to say it right now. I don't care who disagrees with me.
Mm-hmm.
Legion is the worst ending. They're just horrible. They're a horrible group. I just don't like them. But man, I love the gunplay. This is what I'm talking about. The gunplay in New Vegas is so much better than 3. Like in 3, your gun jams every 5 seconds. Maybe it's my controller, or I don't
Might be
know
the
if I'm not
durability
just
of
paying
your
attention.
weapons.
I don't know, man, but like it just was so annoying. Like I'm getting like eaten alive by a feral ghoul, and like my gun is like not working, and I'm like, what am I supposed to do? But in
Uh-huh.
New Vegas, they like fixed it. The
Yeah.
movement. Oh man, the story of New Vegas. Oh goodness, so good.
That's one of my favorite openings
Whew.
in gaming was New Vegas.
Yep.
Uh. Oh, so
Wow.
memorable.
It's just so good, man.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what else to say. It's just that good. Insane. Just amazing
Masterpiece.
game. Yep, it is. It's most 10 out of 10 thing one of the most 10 out of 10 things I've ever played.
Mm-hmm.
So, yep, that's my number one. What's your number one?
So this is another game that didn't come out in 2022, and technically Persona didn't come out either. Persona came out like all the way back, I think 2015. But
2015?
yeah,
I didn't know that.
they just released it on PC, Xbox, and Switch. It was on It came out on PS3, and then it was remastered for PS4. But they added like 100 hours of new stuff, which is a massive W. And I so, anyways, enough about Persona 5. I'm sorry, I love that game. But my true game of the year, this came out in 2018, and I used to clown on this game for age out. Oh, it's a walking
Yeah,
simulator. Oh, Red Dead 2 was so much better. And you
it
already know
is,
which
but
one I'm talking about.
yeah, yeah.
God of
I don't know if
War.
I agree with that
Holy
take.
crap.
That take is
I'm only 11 hours in to God of War 2018 on PC, and I'm like, I love everything about this game. The story, the music, the visuals, the combat, like the puzzles even. Like they're a game, and like it sucks because Ragnarok, it's been a meme with Ragnarok about how it kind of holds your hand during the puzzles. 2018 does none of that. It's like you're in a room, figure it out. And as a Portal veteran, I'm like, okay, what do I do first? Like,
yeah. I
because
agree.
I love brain teasers. I love stuff like that. I will take a ridiculously difficult puzzle game over like a ridiculously hard combat focused game any day of the week. That's just how I work. But
Yeah,
so like everything about God of War is just a masterpiece. And I'm not gonna say
I
that
love that.
I'm not gonna say was Ragnarok was snubbed for Game of the Year because I mean it's the same thing that got Red Dead. Red Dead in 2018, it got all like every award and then lost Game
Can
of the
I
Year.
say something? Can I
Uh
say
huh.
something? Look, me and B-Rex, we're in a predicament here. I've never played God of War. He's never played Red Dead 2. So we kind of have conflict, which is actually really
I played
funny
the
now that
first
I
five
think about
minutes
that.
and then it crashed on me. So we had to
See, but like for the most part, we
yeah
haven't played the other game.
yeah.
Okay? That Red Dead 2 is actually B-Rex knows this. It's my third favorite game of all time.
Hmm.
I just so moved by that. I love westerns and it was just, man, what it was a dream playing that game. For real, it's an experience.
Hmm.
Um, I've never played God of War, so I don't really have an opinion on it. I've seen a lot of people talk about it, and especially B-Rex, and maybe I'll try it one day. But like, Red Dead 2 is still
When you
gonna
get a
be
PS5 for
close to
Final
my heart.
Fantasy, you better.
Yep.
It comes with the PlayStation Plus online membership. You get 2018 with it.
Oh,
So
really?
yeah, it's this
That's
thing called
awesome.
the PS Plus collection. It like gives you a bunch of cool games from the PS4 gen. It even comes to Persona 5. So I'm gonna make you try that as well.
All right.
um. Anyway, so yeah, God of War. I just can't. That and Persona 5, they're games that just made me sit here and like, this is why I play games. Because I
hmm
like cool stories. I like the creativity. Like, I mean, and while a lot of people, I mean, when you think about it, God of War is just your run of the mill action adventure game with, I mean, puzzles and RPG sort of elements. You know, there's skill trees and such. But I think it's just such a much deeper game than that. And I think it's just mainly because of the amount of heart that was put into that game. Like there was so much. The acting in it is superb. Like it outclasses most modern movies. Like it's
Wow.
so good. Um,
I felt that way about Red Dead 2.
hmm And from what I've
Oh
seen of
man.
Red Dead, like I mean, that opening scene, that's what I played until it like borderline fried my Xbox. Um,
You agree it's
oh
beautiful,
man,
that first five
it's
minutes?
it is
Oh
still
man.
like I called God of War graphically impressive. Red Dead 2 is leagues above God of War, and in my opinion, they're both relatively the same when you look at them graphically,
They're
but
both
it's just
look, from our
I feel
opinions, they're
like
both tens, okay?
yeah, it's the scale that Red Dead executed on. Red Dead took a Rockstar open world and made it the most beautiful game ever made. God of War
hmm
is more focused and contained. It's more about these more open areas that you do combat in. And I'm just gonna say one more thing to worship God of War with um like the boss fights. Like when you die, you're not frustrated because the spectacle of them all is so cool. Like you're it's like, dang it, I died. Oh, I want to kill this thing. Like I think I died in one of the first boss fights because the game starts out pretty challenging and you have to upgrade your weapons as you go and your armor to better suit you. And once you start learning the controls, it does get a little easier. Um,
Yeah, I get it.
but oh man, that I'd honestly say number one and number two are interchangeable. And I mean, I haven't even finished my number one and number two. I'm still working through them. Um,
Same.
Um, Persona 5 is phenomenal. God of War, amazing. I I can't not like these games. They're just so good. Um, but yeah,
Hmm.
so that was my top.
That's
That was my
amazing, dude.
five.
Yes, sir.
It was your five. I still have a little time left. Um, so what did we think about the Game Awards this year? Any reveals that stuck out to us besides Bill Clinton winning Game of the
um,
Year and shocking everyone?
yep. I hope that kid's forever immortalized. I'm sad he got arrested, but I mean,
I mean,
that's
he did kind of. Uh,
bro. But bro, he did something no one else would ever do. That's the funny
yeah,
thing,
yeah.
and no one else would ever let him like finish what he was saying either.
Hmm.
I don't know, man. It's just perfect timing. You know, I'm actually now that I say that, I'm actually surprised that no one stopped him from talking like midway.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? So,
yeah.
um, but overall, I mean, it was amazing for PS5 and Nintendo. If your Xbox, we're not even gonna get into that. Uh, uh, I'm really sad because Starfield wasn't there, and I know I sound like a fanboy saying that, but listen, I have 4 Bethesda games in my top 10 games of all time, so like it's kind of a big deal to me personally.
Yeah,
If
same.
if you're not into that thing, like I get it. Like if you're not into RPGs, you despise Bethesda, you're happy that Starfield is delaying and whatever. Cool. You know what? That's you. You know, you have games that I probably don't like, but I'm still gonna respect you for liking them, you know?
Hmm.
Like I don't really care. But for me personally, Starfield is a humongous deal.
Oh yeah,
So I'm really
it's
sad that they didn't do anything.
it's like if
So,
Star Wars was an RPG, and
yep.
I think that's what gets me about it. Is because it's not another Elder Scrolls or not another Fallout. It's something new.
Which I would be
And
okay with, by the way.
wow, yeah, yeah, same. And given and my thoughts on Todd Howard's development practices aside,
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
I still think that Starfield is going to change the way people look at Bethesda. Uh,
I
this
hope so.
is, I mean, they were already on thin ice after Fallout 4 because a lot of people felt it just wasn't as good as their older games, and that's true. Um, and Fallout 76 out here completely destroying everything.
Oh gosh, that was,
Um,
dude, that was so sad, man.
hmm.
Like, that was a big deal for me because I was really starting to get into Fallout. I still remember the day I played Fallout 4. It was like for me personally, with gaming and how much I like gaming, it was actually life-changing.
Hmm.
Which sounds lame because of, Fallout 4, but for real,
It
like
was
it
your
was
first
literally
taste of
like when I
Bethesda, and that's what I've heard.
it
It's like a good
was.
first taste.
Oh
Like a lot
yeah.
of people like. I mean, if it's your first Bethesda game, you're gonna like it. But I mean, if you had been playing their games for a while, you'd know why
Years,
people were
yeah.
disappointed. And I could
Oh,
see that even after playing
100%.
three.
Yep. I that is such a good way to put it because that's exactly stating like how I feel about the situation.
Hmm.
Um but yeah, it was yep, I still remember the day. I still remember what happened on the day that I got Fallout 4. It was a humongous deal like
Hmm.
for me. It's like a milestone in my life, which is stupid saying that out loud, but I mean
We all
that's,
got them.
games. If listen, if you like games, then big things with games are gonna stay in your mind forever.
Hmm.
Like it's just what you remember.
Yeah.
But I don't know where I was going with this. I mean, it was just I love Bethesda games, and I'm just sad about all the
Starfield.
practices and Starfield mess. And oh man, I was reading somewhere online. I think it was on the Starfield subreddit, and it was like they were talking about where's the next step for Bethesda, and it was like a poll, right? And the
Yeah.
first thing on the poll was Starfield DLC, and I cringed and died inside when the second choice was Elder Scrolls 6,
Hmm.
and half the people believed that DLC would come first.
I mean,
Like,
I'm not opposed to
I
that
get it.
as long as
I'm not either, but
Todd isn't in control of the DLC. And while it's like,
yep.
I think Todd has trust issues, honestly, because I mean, look, I get when you create a hit like Elder Scrolls, um,
Oh man,
it
or
you don't
Fallout.
want to. Well, he didn't create Fallout, but
Yeah, you're right. You're right. My bad.
he brought
But
it
he
mainstream.
overlooked
He brought it
3
mainstream.
and Yeah, he
He
did.
definitely
Yeah,
brought
you're
it
right.
mainstream. Um,
Hmm.
but when you create something like Elder Scrolls, I mean, I don't blame you if you don't want someone touching it. It's like, but
Yeah,
that's why I think,
yeah.
and like Starfield, I'm pretty sure he feels the same way because he's been wanting to make Starfield for years. Um, but I feel like they need to have someone else in Bethesda that can take reign on these things, that can like take the lead on
Who's
these
the other
things.
lady that's at the head of Bethesda? I forgot her name. I
Um,
cannot remember her name for my life. She should overlook like a couple projects.
I think she
Isn't
does.
she the
She does a
creative director?
producer or something like that. I'm not sure.
But she
I have to
should.
look her up.
He should give her the like they've been working together for years, bro.
Hmm.
Okay. What was it? She started on Fallout 3 with him, so like kind of through all their big games.
Yeah,
Right? Or am I wrong? I don't know.
maybe. I don't know. I'd
I
have
haven't
to
looked at it.
double check.
I could be wrong, but I know she's been there for a long time.
Yeah.
Okay?
Hmm.
He should give her like creative direction over games. That's
Oh,
what I think he
definitely.
should do. Personally. Or DLC.
Yeah, DLC would be good too.
It's like in
Let me see. I think I
before I
have.
get absolutely destroyed for having that opinion,
Hmm.
can I just bring something up?
Ashley
It is
Chang.
possible.
Ashley Chang. That's who it is.
Gotcha.
She's the
Great.
managing director.
Yeah, he should make her like on the same level of him and
Yeah.
have her overlook games. I mean, is there anybody else he could trust? She's been in with that company for years, bro.
Yeah.
For real. Like, come on. At that point, you know? And listen, before I get absolutely flamed for having this opinion, let me get something straight. You can make a triple A masterpiece without 15 years between installments. That's all I'm gonna say. That's all I'm gonna say. Okay?
Yep.
It's possible. It's not like it's not possible. Okay?
Yeah.
And I feel bad for all those people waiting for Half-Life 3. That's a whole nother story. But
As
that's
a
just
new Half-Life fan, I'm already like, well, I already won it, and I'm still playing through the remake of the first game. And that
people
was pretty
waiting
fun.
since 2004 are just like dying.
Yeah.
uh,
There's a lot of. I
Goodness.
think it's because Steam just took off and was a major success for Valve, so they're like, yeah, we don't have to make games anymore. And I'm like,
Yep,
no, you
which is
still do,
sad.
please. Yeah.
Yep. Is there anything else you want to talk about, or I think we kind of hit all our points.
Yeah, I think we did too. So my final little closing statement here. If you have Game Pass, download Persona 5 right now. um, I can't not talk about this game. It's so good.
And Oblivion
Oh
too,
yeah.
and New
There's a
Vegas if
lot.
you've never played them.
Like for me, I'm not a big fan of Game Pass anymore, mostly because we had like nothing come of it this year. Oh, there's a zombie stuck in my door. Oh, queer. Um, but yeah, it's just play it. There's a lot. I feel like if you didn't play a lot of games, Game Pass is a great investment. Um, if you like missed out on some old classics, Game Pass is a great investment. Definitely. But for me, it didn't work out for new games. But that's a story for another time. Um, Either way, play Persona and Oblivion and Fallout New Vegas. There's a lot of gems on there. Uh, yeah, apparently Persona 5 is like 150-hour runtime, and I'm like, how on earth did they fit
What?
that? How did they fit that into a Switch cartridge? Because I'm looking at my Switch right now. Like I just took the cartridge out of the system. I'm sitting here like this thing is like the size of a quarter, and yet somehow they managed to fit so much data on there. But I mean, I shouldn't be surprised. They got The Witcher 3, Skyrim, and Doom Eternal to run on Switch.
All amazing games, by the way.
Hmm. Yeah, definitely Doom is one of my favorites.
Yep. Alrighty.
Well, thank you for watching this episode of the Rexcast. This is the first of many to come, and we will see you in the next one. Peace out.